The Israeli forces launched their biggest military operation in 20 years in West Bank's Jenin. At least 9 Palestinians have been killed in a day of violence, while dozens of others have been injured. Early on Monday, the Israeli forces hit the Jenin city in the West Bank with drones, gunfire and explosions heard through the day. Fighting continued between Israeli troops and the fighters from the Jenin brigades. As the operation proceeded, Israeli armored bulldozers plowed up roads in the camp to dig up concealed improvised explosive devices. According to the municipality, this further cut water and electricity supplies. The UN humanitarian coordinator also expressed alarm over the situation.
Tor Venisland, the special coordinator for the Middle East peace process, warned today that the current escalation in the occupied West Bank is very dangerous and follows months of mounting tensions. All must ensure that the civilian population is protected, he said. From the outset, Mr. Venisland has been in direct contact with all relevant parties to urgently de-escalate the situation and ensure humanitarian access and delivery of necessary medical and other supplies into Janine.
The Israeli military said it had struck a brigade's command center in the camp, claiming it was a part of an extensive counter-terrorism effort aimed at disrupting militants from using the refugee camp as a base. An Israeli military spokesperson said that there was no specific timeline for ending the operation.
There's a direct line between Islamic Jihad activity and Iran, funding capabilities, etc., etc. Talking about how long this will last, it could take hours, and it could also take days. We're focused on our goals. We're not here to conquer or hold the ground. When it's finished, we'll be out of there.
Israel Foreign Minister Eli Cohen said that the fight was not with the Palestinian people, but with the proxies of Iran, which is Hamas and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad.
We are striking the terrorism hub with a great strength. I want to emphasize that we don't have a fight with the Palestinians. Actually, our fight is with the proxies of Iran in our region, which is mainly with the Hamas and the Islamic Jihad, with both our terrorist organization which financed by Iran.
Condemning the attack, Iran said that the ongoing strikes against the undefended city of Jenin demonstrates that normalization of ties are not effective at all for stopping the Zionist regime's war machine. Meanwhile, Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu held a joint security assessment with the Defense Minister, Director of ISA and IDF Chief of Staff. For more on this, we're now being joined by our correspondent, Jody Cohen. Jody, thank you so much for joining us.
Hi, Hem.
Jody, what's the latest on the operation and the casualties as well as the damage?
So far we're hearing that 3,000 people have left Jenin. Now, Israel says that it did not issue an evacuation order, that residents are fleeing to escape the fighting as hundreds of armed terrorists, they say, are in hiding in Jenin, that explosives have been found in community locations such as underneath the mosque, and people want to avoid being caught in the crossfire. And remember, this operation comes after a string of shooting attacks against Israeli civilians, many of which originated from Jenin. Now, the Palestinian media are reporting that several of those killed are members of the armed groups, and Hamas is calling on young Palestinians to join in the fighting. Jordan has condemned Israel for the operation and has called on the international community to intervene. And the UN spokesperson has said that UN Chief Antonio Guterres is now in touch with a range of parties to try to avoid further escalation.
Right, Jody, also tell us about Abbas Masood pulling away from the security coordination. What does that imply?
Yes, a Palestinian Authority President Abbas, as you said, has ended cooperation with Israel. Now, he's threatened that several times in the past. It's usually been short-lived following negotiations from the US to bring the sides together again. Israel says specifically that the operation is not against the Palestinian Authority, but is against internationally recognized terror groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad. The US State Department says it supports Israel's right to self-defense against these terror organizations, but that there's an urgent need for the Israeli and Palestinian security forces to work together to improve the security situation and avoid civilian casualties. Now, remember that there have been somewhat strained ties between between the Biden administration and Netanyahu's coalition, specifically over the judicial reform proposals. And remember, we saw a mass protest at the airport on Monday night, just yesterday. Netanyahu said that at the 4th of July reception by the US embassy, that the US is Israel's irreplaceable ally, and the US is still seen as the most effective broker between Israel and the Palestinian Authority. But it remains to be seen how long the fighting is going to be going on for between the Israel Defense Forces and the armed groups like Hamas and Islamic Jihad in Jenin.
All right, Jody, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. We will, of course, continue to track the developments closely with you there.
Thank you.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.